All right, welcome to the SOL review. Today we're talking about the substitution problems. Let's take a look at them. So the first one, what is the value of, and here's an expression, 4m plus 8 over 4m plus 4, and we're going to do when m equals 4. All right, so to actually do this problem mathematically, you will just substitute. That's the way to do it. Mathematically, you would 4 times 4 is 16 plus 8. 4 times 4 is 16 and then plus 4. Keep going with this. I'm going to bring it down below. And that's 24 over 20. And you reduce it. Divide by 4, divide by 4. And you get 6 over 5. Now that's the answer. Now let's do this in the calculator. So in Desmos, so we can double check. Or if you just don't understand what this problem is saying and you kind of get confused, here's how we do it in Desmos. So we're going to go to Desmos. We're going to type in the expression. I hit division right away, and I'm going to keep it m. So anytime we're not talking about the graph, we're not going to have x or y. So if you ever get an x or y, change it. Change it to a different letter. In this case, it's m. Plus 4. And then I'm going to add the slider. I'm going to hit the little m here for add slider. And it said m equals 4. You can either move the slider back and forth until you get to 4, or you can just click on the actual number and type in 4. And we get 1.2. So 1.2 is a great answer. Otherwise, I'm going to hit the fraction key over here, and that's 6 over 5, which is exactly what we got. So, or we could say it's 1.2. And for the SOL, both of them are going to be fine. All right, let's take a look at number 2, f of x. So one thing you see here, this is f of x equals, and it's going to equal this whole expression. I'm going to highlight in pink here. And over here it says f of 2. Well, f of x, f of 2, that means x equals 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the expression that I have highlighted in pink here into the calculator. I'm going to change the x values to, and I'm just going to show you, so you can substitute 2 in and simplify it. But I'm just going to show you how to do it in the calculator. So instead of x, I'm going to write a different letter. Let's just go a. So anytime we're not talking about, I'm not looking at the x or the coordinate plane at all. So we are going to change the x's to a's or m's or n's, just not x and y, because we're not looking at the actual graph. And we're going to have the a is going to equal 2 instead of x equals 2. So let's put that into Desmos. So I have 7a, just kidding, that's not right. You gotta put parentheses around it. Make sure you write it exactly how you see it. Minus 2, close the parenthesis, plus 4 times parenthesis, a, plus 1, close it out. We're going to have our slider. A is going to equal 2 in this case. So A equals 2. Oh no. Almost had too much caffeine today. Let's make it equal 2. And so we get 12 as an answer. Cool. So that means f of 2, and that's notation. You don't have to worry about that. The answer here is 12. That's what you really ultimately want. All right, take a look at number 3. So read it. Take a little time. So the one thing in the problem, we get the equation, and we get the speed is 100. So speed, and it actually doesn't say in here, but speed is s. So if the s is 100, we got to figure out m for the miles per gallon, So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute, and I think you can actually plug it all in. I'm going to check this quick. But otherwise, I'm just going to put the right side in. So let's see if I can put it all in exactly. So it has m, and it doesn't have x's or y's, so we can put it in exactly how we see it. I'm actually going to take the m out. I'm just going to do 75 minus 0.3 times in parentheses s. I know on the SOL we have different there's two different Desmos, and I'm not using the test mode Desmos right here, but so the test mode might not work with the M equals. So slider, now you can't slide it to 100, but what we can do is we can click on and type in 100 for the S. So then the answer is 45. So miles per gallon is going to be 45. All right, let's take a look at number 4. All right, now we have X's and Y's. So anytime we're not looking at the graph here. So ultimately what we're doing is we've been simplifying, substituting and simplifying. Anytime you're simplifying, simplify equivalent, we need to change the variables so they're something else. So I'm just going to have 3 instead of X, I'm going to have A. Instead of Y, I'm going to put B. And you can change it to whatever you want. So the X is 1/3, the B is 1/2. So that was my B, that's my A, B. Make sure you write it down. If you don't write it down, there's a good chance you'll get it wrong. So why not? Just write it down. We're visual people. Most of us are, at least. So 3A plus 4B. And then now we have sliders for both of them. It says, I'm just going to click the all button. And I'm going to change it to the A is going to be 1/3. And the B is going to be 1/2. And look up here. So on line number 1, it equals 3. Perfect. So this is going to be 3. Done. All right, I'm going to do one more problem. I believe the rest are number 5. I'm not going to do this problem, but you have X, Y, and Z, so I would just change it to like A, B, and C. So A, B, and C. So just change them to that. Other problem I see here that is different than what you had, anything that's different, is number 9. So what are the range values? So range, we have to know, you probably know this from middle school, range is Y. And the domain, I see that down here, domain values means X. So we have the f of X, that's your Y. So that's Y. So we can rewrite it as Y equals -3x squared plus 5. And we're going to have set our X to equal -2. X is also going to equal 0, and X is going to equal 1. So it's everything in the parentheses here. The domain is X values, so I'm going to set it equal to all 3 of them. So let's put this into the calculator. So all I'm going to type in is, instead of X, I'm going to write A. I didn't say that before, I should have. So I'm going to have 3A squared plus 5, and I'm going to make the slider equal -2 first. Oh no, -2, so that's 17. Let me write that. So when X equals -2, the Y is going to equal 17. Now I'm going to do when X equals 0, the Y is going to equal 5. And when X equals 1, the Y is going to equal 8. So we're looking at these 3 are my Y values, those are my range. And the numbers go from 5 to 8 to 17. Well, which one is that? Well, there we go. That's C. So these are the type of questions. You should be able to work on the rest of them and get them practice using Desmos. You can also try to do them how we used to do, just substitute them in. It's always good to have more than one solution or one type or way to do this problem. Thanks for listening.